What's up, everybody? Welcome to my live show. The reason you clicked on a thumbnail, we're going to be talking and even hearing my live reaction as it's currently 16-17. Denver Broncos, dangerous Russell Wilson versus his previous team, the Seattle Seahawks. However, it's not go according to plan. It's 17-16. Right now, they're on the 43-yard line, trying to march down the field. Man, this is a crazy game, man. Just over a minute. Seattle still has one more timeout. Actually, looks like they just called that. Crazy, absolute crazy game. Should be having my co-host hopefully joining me here soon. And then as soon as this game ends, probably within the next 5 minutes or so, I'm gonna go ahead and give my my full breakdown of the game, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into that here. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, this game, while there has been fumbles, there's been drop passes. Even Russell Wilson, the ball did not leave his hands. Like I stuck and glued to his hands just now. I literally just saw that. What the heck? Don't give up on the Broncos just yet. And also, Seattle's defense looks a heck of a lot better than I gave it credit for before this game. I always like to say, I'll take this quote from Adrian, my co-host. That the Seahawks are the Seahawks until they're not the Seahawks anymore, right? So let's see here. One sec here. All right, one sec, y'all. I'm just sending this tweet out, trying to get some people here in the chat. A moment here. Monday Night Football. Broncos. All right, cool, man. I'm just getting this out there to the world. Try to get some more people here on the stream. But, man, right now, 24 or 23 seconds left in the game. And if Seattle gets within field goal range, y'all, this game's over. This game's over, and they're going to knock it down. But, man, Geno Smith, he did his thing. But it was just a weird game. This was a very weird game. A lot of drop passes. Blake Dupre, what's up, my man? Much love. Keep up the blessings. Blake, man, I saw Sean the other day at church, man. Our old boss, man. It was really good to see him, man. I miss you guys a lot, man. Hope everybody's doing well over there at Sambas, man. Love you guys, man. You guys are awesome. But, yeah, this is a crazy game. Right now is a timeout. Fourth quarter looks like I believe Seattle used their final timeout, and it's 16-17, Seattle with the lead. So, Broncos use a timeout. So 4th and 5. If they hit this field goal, it's let me see here. It's game over. And McManus is one of the best kickers in the whole entire NFL. Okay, they use a timeout. So it's crazy. They just use a timeout, and McManus hit a far left. Holy cow! Wow. Watching the game live here with you guys. And this game, this should have been like, 27 or like 32, to whatever the Seattle has right now, 17. But, man, when you fumble within the 5-yard line, man, it's all bad, man. It's all bad. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, everything's going good for me, man. Everything's going well. Thank you so much, Blake. Appreciate you, man. All right, man, here it is, moment. 64-yard attempt. Will he do it? He did not. Seattle wins the game. Seattle wins the game. Wow. Seattle wins the game. So many thoughts are going through him. And Geno Smith, the man everybody counted out, including myself. I totally counted this guy out. Holy cow. Wow. Seattle with the dub. Let me see this kick. They're doing the replay right now. Looks like he got enough foot behind it, but it was just slightly left. If he would have made it, it would have just been a yard over. That's all right, man. Hey, Broncos are going to be okay. I believe the Broncos are going to be just fine, man. I think with the with the Denver Broncos, with them, it's one of those things where you got a brand new quarterback on your team. You got all these new players. then you got the draft and everything like that. And it's one of those things where it takes a minute for this to gel. Remember when LeBron James came down to Miami? It took a minute to gel. Remember when I hate to use basketball references, but the Boston Celtics many, many years ago, it took a minute for it to gel. And it's going to be a few games, man, but with their coaching staff, I have no doubt that they could put this together. I have no doubt that the Denver Broncos are still a playoff team. But this is the AFC, and it's going to be games like these where people go and they look back and they're like, wow, we should have won that one. Big time. You know what I mean? So, wow, what a freaking game. Pete Carroll's 70-year-old self, he looked like he could barely walk. It looked like he did arthritis injections in his knees, man. He's so hyped. And Geno Smith, man, all that he's been through, man, for those who don't know the story of Geno Smith, he comes out of West Virginia. He had a game where, and I'm probably wrong a little off this, but it was like seven or eight touchdowns. Just had a monster game while he was at West Virginia. But he had an attitude problem. He took that in the NFL, and there was a D lineman, Nigerian last name. I can't remember what his name was. He was from Houston. And I guess Geno was, jaw jacking in the locker room and got hit in the jaw and broke his jaw, out for season. Plus with that, with lackluster gameplay and the humiliation, he got shipped out. You know what I mean? And Geno Smith was a NFL traveling man for a little bit. But look at this: 23 for 28 yards, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Geno Smith is definitely the player of the game here. And it's nice to see. Like, is he a starting QB? Probably not after this season, man. But man, he earned the respect because I think most of America, probably 80% of America, unless you live outside of Seattle, you probably thought this team was going to get absolutely smoked today. That did not happen. Also, as well, Seattle, they had draft picks this year. And historically, before they started they were kind of every season was like win now, win now, win now. Historically, Seattle, they don't get their first draft pick till like the second or third round, right? So this year they had some draft collateral and they drafted very, very well. O-line looks good at times. I'd probably give the O-line maybe like a 7 out of 10 because there was times where like Geno was running for his life, right? But even when the passes he made, they were great freaking passes. They were great passes. A little disappointed to hear people, taking Boo Russell Wilson. Look, he made your team relevant. Many people forget Seattle even had a team, man. So have respect for the man that was there. But folks, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in co-host, my dog, my man, my ace, Adrian freaking Campbell. What's up, D guy, man? Talk to me. Dope hat, by the way.
Appreciate it, brother. Unlike this hat that can do no wrong, Broncos. The heck, man. Y'all can't. Yeah. What happened? We have a Freaky Friday situation on a Monday? Because I swear this Broncos team looked like the Seahawks that Russell was playing. Like, the line looked like the Seattle line from last year. Mm-hmm. Defense looked like the defense from last year. The mistakes, the lack of discipline. Now, credit to the 12s, man. They had that place rocking. The decibels up. But Jesus, man, you would think that with a roster that loaded, a quarterback that talented, Nathaniel Hackett's supposed to be some kind of offensive savant. Yo, what happened, bro? Like, y'all really let me down.
Drop passes. And then I saw Neil Everett. He said something on Twitter is basically, that the routes were really bad, man. There was no over-under routes. I mean, it was a few slants here and there, man, but it was –
bro, there was times really that I'm looking at the field, like even on the touchdown to Jerry Jeudy, which was underthrown. Like I'm watching and I'm like, the middle of the field is wide open. Why are we not calling any crossing patterns or any slants across the middle of the field? Like there is a gap. They're playing that too high shell and they have the backers down inside the box. I'm like, the middle of the field is open. Just throw a quick slant. You got KJ Hamler, who is perfect for that situation. Slide him in there. Hell, you could run Sutton in there if you wanted to run it. I just didn't understand what was going on. And then, fumbling the ball 2 times inside the red zone.
Was that Javonte Williams on both?
Javonte, I think Javonte on the
One of them, right?
on the last one, and I thought Melvin. It don't matter. They put the ball on the ground. It was disgusting. Like,
and man, I looked crazy today, man. You know why I looked crazy? Because I had this homeboy at work. Shout out to Caleb. I don't know if you're watching this, man. And man, him and I are talking, and I say to him, I'm like, man, Javonte's gonna be the MVP of the game. You watch. And wait, hold on a second. Let me bring my guy here, Mr. Mike Williams.
He was not. He definitely not. MVP of that game was Geno Smith. My God.
Lord help mercy.
MVP of that game was Melvin Gordon because he wanted to get a ball to the damn Seahawks.
I watched Javonte put it on the ground too.
Yeah, but
look here, y'all really let me down. Now I got to listen to these 12s talk all week about how they're at the top of the division. Seahawks fans enjoy it.
Yeah, short-lived. I'm gonna say this about the Broncos, man. Give it time.
It's week one. I mean, it's week one, but this is like, man, this is disappointing. Like, I'm sorry if you're Russell Wilson. If you're Russell Wilson, this has to be disappointing, man. Like, kind of like Baker's, quote unquote revenge game. Like, you want to prove to your ex that you've moved on to something better. Right now, Russell, your ex looking like she winning. I mean, at least this week.
I just don't get how Geno Smith came out that game looking like Drew Brees. He was taking all the short passes and all that.
Yeah.
It seemed like our offense was extremely out of whack, obviously, especially not playing in the preseason. But I know you got a bell cow and Javonte Williams, and I have no idea why that meant neither back got in rhythm. It's like neither one of them looked comfortable. The only person that looked relatively comfortable, I'll give a shout out to Garrett Bowles because he did his thing that game. Left tackle holding that down.
Yeah, but he was responsible for quite a few penalties, false starts, and whatnot.
No, he wasn't. That wasn't Garrett. That wasn't Garrett.
That was 100% Garrett Bowles.
Garrett Bowles had a couple, but like Cam Fleming, our right tackle situation ain't sorted. Jerry Jeudy looked good.
Except for that one drop that was just, I don't know. He tried to catch it with his chest. I don't know what happened.
I saw that.
I don't know, man. It looked sloppy. Overall, looked sloppy, but you would expect that with the team that didn't play in the preseason.
Yeah, like I said, it's week one. I don't want to overreact, and I still feel strongly about the Broncos going forward. However, like I said, I'm not a Broncos fan, but y'all done pissed me off. Just for the simple fact that y'all let the Seahawks really be atop the NFC West this week. Like, I'm sick. I'm sick about it.
I feel that, man.
The team looked better. Like, bro, this team. I had Broncos by 1 billion tonight. If you had told me that the Broncos were coming into this game as underdogs, like, no way, bro.
I didn't have it as like we were 6.5 point favorites. I didn't think we were going to do that. First game of the season, and then Russ back in Seattle, and that's the most difficult place in the NFL to play, regardless.
Outside of Arrowhead,
that's more difficult as far as noise goes. Like Arrowhead, you can still call plays. Seattle, bro, we had all those false starts and delay of games because they literally couldn't get the plays off. Like they could not hear each other get the play off, and it felt like in the fourth quarter they started figuring something out, but they were. Play calling was off by Nathaniel Hackett. It was they were in the huddle with 12 seconds left several times. So it's like they weren't even communicating it efficiently to get it to the court to Russ to get it in time.
Well, talk to me about this because Mike, before you jumped on, man, like I was telling Doug, like I didn't understand the game plan tonight, especially with as open as the middle of the field, the Seahawks were leaving the middle of the field open, and it just seemed like Nathaniel Hackett refused to call anything over the middle of the field, especially when you've got weapons like KJ Hamler and Cortland Sutton that are equipped to go over the middle, and they can make these slants and stuff. And I'm like, Seattle's playing that very too high shell, and they've got those backers that are kind of set down in the box and stuff like that. Yeah. The middle of the field, like I said, you're not going to bang 20 yards off of it, but you grab 5-7, right? Death by 1,000 knife cuts. And then go. I just didn't understand the unwillingness to attack the middle of the field, and then even some of the plays that you guys turned into a success, I just didn't understand. Like that wasn't it wasn't the right read. You had Jerry Jeudy pretty much making that play happen on especially that touchdown. Like Russ underthrew that ball. If he hits him in stride, like he doesn't get touched that play.
Yeah, I think too. The thing with Russ historically has been obviously he's 5'11", and seeing over 6'3", 6'4" linemen, which our guards are pretty tall. So that's traditionally why he's thrown outside passes, has arguably the best deep ball in the NFL. And I feel like Seattle was like, all right, prove us wrong. And I don't feel like he could see that as quickly as some other places. Because you look at Russ's whole career, that's the part of the field that he's the weakest in, realistically. But you had Alberto, who could have had Alberto had some plays today. I feel like he should have been highlighted. You're 100% correct. And I really feel like Javonte Williams, unless he was just out of shape, which I don't know how that happens, but I just think you have a dynamic back like that. And second in broken tackles and was splitting carries last year. I think like hammer that guy, give that guy the ball until he's ready to come out the game. You know what I'm saying? And like, in Tyreek Woodley, we looked at some of our mock drafts and people we talked about do 6'3", 210, running a 4.27 corner for the Seahawks. He didn't look like a rookie, and he got hurt. But there were several plays like you can't not score at all being inside the 5. I'm not talking about being in the red zone. I'm talking about being inside the 5. And you don't score twice. A field goal in either one of those situations puts us better. I like the 4th and 1 going for it, but like Soup, I cannot stand Melvin Gordon. He fumbles all the time. Javonte Williams had that fumble. That fumble was more like the play. They just hiked the ball. A lineman ran into Russ as he was handing the ball off. It just looked really discombobulated.
I kind of like what Nightclaws is saying here. I kind of like an idea of a QB sneak with Russ. Like he's small, he's behind big linemen. It's a yard to gain. Like if there's anybody who could do it, he could do it. I mean, here's the thing, right? So I know that's not really popular in the NFL now to have the QB sneak, even though you do see some QBs that are better at it than others. But I know it's not popular, especially now because, man, you know that there's going to be a pile up, and the last thing you want to do is get your franchise quarterback killed on a QB sneak. Especially like I can't remember the boy's name because I just don't remember Seattle players really because they're all nameless and faithless to me. But big old 99 that they got that looked like all he does is eat cans of Dinty Moore. Like that is not a guy that you want laying on top of Russell Wilson.
Yeah. It was Al Wilson or something, maybe.
Somebody, I don't know. Boy was bigger.
Al Robinson.
There you go. Bro. Yeah. He's bigger than E Honda from Street Fighter.
Yeah, I do with you, Marcus. Like he literally tossed Dalton Reisner like he sucked at football. Like Dalton Reisner was not bad at all. He tossed him aside and put Eric.
Bro, the jersey that he's rocking is like a 5XL, and it still looked like it was tight on him.
Nah, buddy, looked like he was wearing an XL.
Bro, yeah, they need more fabric for that young man.
Yeah.
Need a lot more fabric.
What do y'all think about Geno Smith's gameplay tonight, man? I'm just curious to see.
Well, like Mike said, he didn't look like Geno Smith. If I didn't know that Geno was the quarterback, I would have seriously been like, yo, who is this out here? Because I know they ain't got nobody else on the roster besides Geno and Drew Lock.
Yeah, Geno looked like Geno from West Virginia, honestly. Like that's the guy that looked like the guy that when he came out of West Virginia, we're like, oh, he's about to be a dog. He's about to be the guy. And like I think sitting behind Russ is one thing, but kind of going back to our thread, I think the Seattle Seahawks are so well coached. Like Pete Carroll unquestionably is one of the best coaches in the NFL. We consistently talk about that, but they look so ready for that game. Like they out physicaled us, which doesn't make any sense with the kind of team we have, the kind of offense we should be having. Geno looked calm. Geno looked like he was in the pocket, just picking our defense apart in certain plays. I don't know. We just don't look settled, man. I really do. I get the not playing in preseason and avoid some injuries, but like the beginning of
there's a price you pay for that, right? Like my team is a perfect example of that. You pay the price, and it is hard to just get warmed up on a game that actually matters. When you don't have those reps, right? When you haven't taken those hits, and there's one thing to have chemistry in practice, is another thing to do it in live game action. It's a completely different thing. I think the thing outside of switching sides of the ball, right? Like offensively, I was shocked because I really thought that you guys were going to light it up. Defensively, I was really surprised, especially with 2 rookie tackles. Now, I'm not saying that those rookie tackles at Seattle's are good or bad. I just know that typically when you have young, inexperienced offensive linemen going against experienced pass rushers, Randy Gregory, Bradley Chubb. Typically, that matchup favors them. And I just didn't see Geno under a lot of duress today. Now, like you said, kind of credit to Pete Carroll because he respect to those edge rushers. Geno was kind of getting the ball out pretty quick, and you saw a lot of those slants and crossing patterns that I wanted the Broncos to run. Some of that stuff that I really expected them to run a lot. And, Rashard Penny looked like he looked really good, man. He looked like he's justified that extension that they gave him. I for one, thought that we were going to see a lot more Kenneth Walker today. But it looks like Rashard Penny, at least to start the season, is gonna be the guy. So that was
right now.
Who, Kenneth Walker?
Yeah. When he's coming back, I'll check real quick.
Either way, like I said, that was shocking for me. I would have thought that they got more pressure on Geno. Noah Fant looked like he was out for revenge tonight. Like he's like, bro, like it's cool if y'all wanted to get Russell, but you ain't had to send me up here to Seattle. Like he looked like he wanted a little something too. DK looked like DK. I like Ronald Darby was playing his butt off tonight. He was playing opportunistic football, poking that ball out, punching it out and stuff like that. Like that, I think the Broncos are going to need a lot of that play this year, especially just because, like I said, that AFC West division is going to be brutal, but the AFC in general, right? You're going to need to create takeaways. But that being said, same thing that, the three of us kind of talked about offline in different conversations, right? Even going back to the Thursday night game, which is if you have a defense that's being opportunistic and is getting you the ball, you have to come away with points. You cannot come away with, minimal points. You have to be able to turn that around and do touchdowns. Yeah. Oh, hernia. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I also, I don't know. I think like realistically, like I get what we're saying as far as like the defense, all that, but at the end of the day, Geno picked us apart the first half. The second half, we looked more in control. Like they had no receiver for the Seahawks had over 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Rashad Penny had 60 yards total. It's just the plays they made. They made plays for one, a short field in the first half specifically. And Geno Smith was picking and he wasn't trying to like play outside of himself. Geno Smith wasn't trying to go win the game. He wasn't trying to lose the game.
Right.
He was just getting the ball to his playmakers. And like they did a phenomenal job of opposite of what we did, getting the ball in the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
All three of their tight ends had at least 2 or 3 receptions. Like they had 3 tight ends with catches. Like they were doing their thing. And then DK Metcalf and Patrick Surtain was a matchup I was definitely interested in looking at. And I feel like DK won it in times that mattered. Although, he was held out of the end zone. He had 7 receptions, 36 yards, like he had this crazy game. But those receptions always moved the ball. Like it always put them in a better situation. It's not like he got a 3-yard catch and was got blasted or something. Like he always moved the chains. They were kind of hitting him like a possession receiver, and he's big. So I feel like, again, they did what they needed to do. And I know we better bounce back against the Texans because we better.
Well, moving forward, man, I think for both teams, right? Like I'll start with Seattle first. I still don't think that they're going to have a great season. This was definitely a shock to the system tonight. But that methodology of gameplay, right? Death by 1,000 tiny cuts. That only works if the game is close, and typically if you're playing in front. If you have another team that you're competing against that is scoring at will, that's bombing on you, like most head coaches do not have the patience to stay in that. They're going to take more of those opportunistic shots, and I really think that that's kind of what the Broncos defense is kind of built for, right? And you're hoping to get that explosiveness with all the weapons that you have on receiver, especially the Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, Russell Wilson connections. You're hoping for some more of those big explosive plays where you're putting up a couple points and you're pressuring the other team to take those bigger shots. So that way these DBs that you guys have back there, right? We talked about Ronald Darby. We talked about Pat Surtain, but even Justin Simmons, right? Like you want to take advantage of their specific skill sets, and you cannot do that playing from behind because that team in front of you is under no pressure to take those big shots and take those opportunities. And I think we'll see a lot more of that also, right? Just in your division, I think the Broncos defense is built well for their division because those 3 teams that you face, like their bread and butter is big plays, big, splashy, explosive plays, all 3 of those offense, right? Yeah, Brad's typical Seahawks bend don't break with a strong running game that sets up a Geno play action and that's part of I cannot remember. God, I just lost it. Who is it? Shane Waldron? Is there OC or whatever his name is? Whatever. He comes from the Rams, so I'm very familiar with that because that's exactly what we ran the entire time that we had Jared Goff. So like I'm very familiar with what their actual offense is. It used to be my offense, and it, like I said, it works. It works great when you're playing in front or you're playing or you're playing really close, and you're not getting pressure on the quarterback. If you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, then that stuff works. So,
and I think too though they didn't have to pass the ball until certain times in the fourth quarter, and when they did, that's when Bradley Chubb was destroying the tackles, right? Like they put their tackles in a position where they weren't on an island against Randy Gregory, who had that strip sack fumble or that strip. Randy Gregg or Bradley Chubb rather had those 2 sacks. Like when they had to be in positions where we could pin our ears back, you could tell our defense is built for that. But Seattle did a phenomenal job of not putting their guys in the position where they had to throw like that, right? And he had a clean pocket. We were running some games and stuff earlier on, but it's not like he was back there for 100 years. He was literally getting the ball to that 5 to 7 yard range, 10-yard range, and they were just taking what the defense gave them. And I feel like our right side of our line, man, Doug, like we've been talking about this, it feels like for 2 years, bro, and it's pissing me off still. Our right tackle situation, the right tackle I said we should draft is playing for Seattle right now.
Oh, Cross?
No, Cross is the left tackle. It's Abraham Lucas. He went to Washington.
Oh, yeah.
That's one in a bunch of our drafts. They can go back and look. I was like, Broncos should draft him, right tackle, yada yada.
I think he had a
flawless game. The game he had, he should be playing for Denver. And this is going on the 3rd year we're talking about now. Like we still need a right tackle, right? So like when you have those things happen, and again, we know buddy from I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. He was with the Packers last year, was with the Broncos before that. Oh, Billy Turner. Billy Turner's still hurt, but I just feel like if Billy Turner for us going into the season was our top option with no competition, like he literally has no competition at right tackle. The people that we have there have been there not performing. You got to add somebody young into that mix to compete. And say Billy Turner does win the job, you have somebody that next year when Billy Turner's contract's up at that 1-year deal that can step in that role, right? And I just feel like this was a relatively deep tackle draft, and we literally took not one tackle, like not one. It makes no sense,
right?
And it's like, and you could see that today, like that depth of the lack of that on the right side affected us the whole game.
And Brad, I want to acknowledge what you were talking about, about Clint Hurt making the defense better. Like I will say, right, once again, I feel like everybody that's talking about the NFL this week is saying this, and I'm going to continue to say on this because it matters, right? It's week 1, right? So on its face tonight, yes, the defense looked much improved over what we were seeing from Seattle last year. Is this a one-time affair though, right? I don't think so. I think that this defense is going to bow up throughout the season. They're going to have to because the offense is not built to be explosive. And they're going to rely heavily on that defense. And that makes sense, right? With Pete Carroll being a defensive-minded head coach, this is kind of what Pete wanted, right? There's a reason that Russ isn't in Seattle anymore. And there's all sorts of rumors and stuff, and maybe one day we'll actually get the truth about what actually happened. But I like to believe kind of the stuff that's kind of come out, right, is that Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll philosophically could not agree what that team should be, right?
Yeah.
And Pete Carroll being more defensive line, like that team was cooking when Legion of Boom was a thing, and it makes sense because it plays to the strengths of their head coach. But when you don't have those pieces to be able to defensively run those schemes and do those games, then it switches to the offense, and that's not a place that's not Pete Carroll's strong suit. And we saw what happened when he's out of his comfort zone. The team doesn't look great, and I think not having that star quarterback, right? And I'm not saying like, oh, Seattle, the worst thing for them to do is get a star quarterback. No, they should absolutely get a star quarterback, but a quarterback that wants to quote unquote cook, right? That wants to throw the ball down the field. That's not in Pete Carroll's design. That's not how he wants to run his team. He wants to run the ball. He wants to out physical the other team, and he wants to bully them on defense, right? And have his quarterback make the throws that he needs to make, be opportunistic and manage the game. And I think that's exactly what he has with Geno Smith.
I want to add too, real quick. It was nice to see Seattle have some draft picks finally, and we got to see a few guys out there, Tariq Woolen and stuff like that. And usually they draft pretty well, and they're really good at developing talent internally. But it's crazy, when it's like every year it feels like you guys get 4 draft picks. This year they had some more collateral, and we got to see some more ballers out there. They got some more people in the back staff, and it obviously paid off tonight, and whatnot.
Yeah, Tavares Jackson. That's a name I haven't heard in a very, very long time.
I think with Geno going in with this, y'all, I think like that this team is designed for those tough, like defensive close games. They're going to be in a lot of situations this year. I felt like if we play, and again, this is neither here nor there. We're 0-1. They're 1-0. They played better than us tonight. There's not really excuses. We had plenty of opportunities, and I don't disagree. I don't necessarily agree with the. We have one of the top 3 kickers in the NFL. He has a leg. He can kick it through. Like his kicks. Awesome. Yes, what I'm saying. His kicks, when he kicked it, even the practice kick, it wasn't a distance thing. It was a matter of the wind kind of going left a little bit, right? I don't disagree. I think trust Brandon McManus. He was 9 for 9 in the preseason. He tied the record for the longest field goal kick in the NFL. I think he's an absolute monster. But saying that to say, if the Seahawks are going to be in a position this season, when they get to play a Rams that are back where they need to be. They play a 49ers team that's back where they need to be. Cardinals, who knows what they are, but they're
I know what they are.
They're built to compete with those teams in those close games. But if a team gets up on that team, they're not going to catch up to that team. They're not built to come back. They're built to like keep a game close, win an ugly game, and they did that. Like I'll give them credit because they absolutely did that today. They won an ugly game. But with that being said, man, like. We definitely left a lot of plays on the field. They left some plays on the field as well, but there's some stuff that we obviously could have done in that game, could have went a whole different way,
I think if I'm not mistaken, and Brad probably knows it a lot better than I do, but if I'm not mistaken, I think after this season, Jamal Adams' contract becomes very sheddable. And I don't think that that's a bad idea if they decided they wanted to part ways with Jamal Adams. If we're all being 100% honest here, Jamal Adams hasn't been the Jamal Adams that he was when he was in New York. It's been a completely different Jamal Adams, and he's been plagued with injuries, whether that's part of the reason he isn't performing or the fact, like, for some reason he just lost his juice up there in the Pacific Northwest. I think they'll be looking to shed him next season, whether that's via cut or getting some kind of compensation by him.
Who's gonna take that last year? Like, was it 12 million, 13 million?
We'll see, man. Here's the only reason why I think they could get some kind of compensation. Now, in my mind, it doesn't make any sense because in terms of a coverage safety, he's not a coverage safety. He's blitz boy. We call him blitz boy for a reason. But with the inflated market for the wide receivers, right? You saw it this offseason. If you follow Twitter, if you follow Jalen Ramsey, whatever you think about Jalen Ramsey, like he's an interesting follow. But when all these receivers and stuff is getting paid, he said something that's going to be true for probably this next upcoming offseason and maybe the offseason after that. If you're going to pay these receivers this amount, well, it only makes sense that you pay the people that are responsible for covering those guys, right? So those dollar amounts are going to go up, and that's all your DBs. That's your corners and that's your safeties. Like they're going to see the money. And I think kind of like, right, the quarterback market, whether or not a person deserves the payday that they get, it's the market demand for the position. I think they'll be able to get something for him because of the market demand.
Yeah, super. I was just looking too, man. Like they can't get rid of this man until 24. He has a $30 million cap hit this year, $21 million next year, and he has with his option it drops down from $30 to $14 million, but they're still gonna have somewhere like $10 to $14 million cap hit. After 24, it drops down to 7.
Like I said, possibly next season. We'll see what happens. It might be too early, but like I said, you never know with this market, and it's really weird. Any market that's paying Christian Kirk $85 million is kind of fishy to me. So you never know. They might be willing to split it down the middle with the team that wants to give them some kind of compensation for it. Say, hey, we'll take X amount of salary if you guys take on the rest of the salary.
That's a contract they're going to have to give somebody a draft pick. They're going to say, hey, if you take this man,
not only
we'll
are they
give
going
you a third-round draft pick.
Oh, for sure. They're going to have to give up a pick and eat some salary. I'm not saying like it's just going to be a standalone, but I do think they look to move off of him, because if you look at this draft, the young corners that they took, the tackles that they took, it's very clear that Pete Carroll has a vision for where he wants his team. And I think next year, kind of like what Brad said earlier, that their draft this season, depending on position and stuff like that, I think they'll do well with the cap that they'll have as well. They expect some of those free agents that are expected, especially if they can pull out a halfway decent season. Like, make no mistake about it, y'all. People joke about Seattle, but like, I've lived up in Washington State. It's beautiful, and it's not rainy all the time. It's beautiful. I would move back there in a heartbeat if it wasn't so expensive. But like, it's an attractive place to play. And if you're a player, right, you know that the home field advantage is real, and like those 12s are like 1,000% ride or die. They have the place rocking regardless of how garbage their team is. Like, you can bet the 12s are going to show out. And I think if you're a player, if you've ever played the game of football, if you've ever played any kind of sport, right, in front of a crowd, not even professionally, right, even if you played in high school or whatever, like, there's nothing quite like playing against a whole, with a home crowd, and you hear them going crazy for you. Like, it's a good feeling as a player, and you would think that doesn't matter to people, but it does. It means
they're well trained too, man. Like, they were extremely quiet.
Oh yeah,
they were extremely quiet when they were on offense. Like, you could hear a pin drop. Russ had to yell to his huddle. Mm-hmm. Like, they showed it, like his huddle. He was like, people were coming over. He called a play. They'd come in closer. Like, their crowd is very well trained. I say bump the whole Washington's a good place to live. You're in Colorado. You're supposed to be. But I'm glad to see Ike. And all I know is the 12s, I respect y'all, but after Seahawks, and we took that L, I guess.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. So,
if you don't get you a proper
fire
hat, Ike, at this point, y'all are the Commanders, man. Get you a Commander's hat.
Vesper, come on, man. It's a little early for that. It's a little early for the fire
ladies
hat.
and gentlemen, for those who just tuning into the episode, I want to introduce my brother, man.
The most politically incorrect individial. I'm offended by that hat, sir.
Hey. I'm so sorry.
I'm 2% Cherokee, okay?
We're gonna do a fundraiser, Doug. Like, put the link in the below so we can get this man Commander's hat.
No cap.
But I
need you to have the Commander stuff, because I seen you on Twitter, and the way that you've been assaulting these people that's been attacking the Commander brand. I need you to be the champion of the Commander brand. I don't want to see any of the old gear right now. You should have been all Commanders.
For those who don't know, I encourage, for anybody who's watching, who's on Twitter, just go left field.
No, for real, put the hat back on. I need you to take command of your hairline.
Wills, follow Adrian and myself. But good guy Ike is, even if you're not a Commanders fan, he will come for your jugular with facts. He's an encyclopedia, and he's not a very intelligent person, man. He's just it's nice to watch.
Y'all you hyping up Ike too much. You need to stop.
Hey. But no, man.
No, I don't agree with
John Allen. That's why I'm repping.
Mm-hmm.
He got me, but. I'm gonna have the Commander's gear in full force very soon.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I need.
That's the one you hang up.
You already know what
time
it is.
I ain't never forgot his autograph.
Look, hold on. Look, put Vesper up. Here we are. Why we running out of shotgun on third down? Why we trying to return kickoffs with Washington getting destroyed? Why we paying Russ so much to have more?
Oh, shout out to Vesper, man. You the
goat. Yo, Vesper is sick.
Yeah,
Vesper is sick. Vesper. I'm not even a Broncos fan, and I feel you, bro. Like, big season acquisition, all of this. Whatever, man. However y'all feel about Russell, like, he got a bunch of corny stuff that he's doing, and when you're out there doing all your method acting, pretending to run out of tunnels and high-fiving people that are non-existent, like, bro, you better get on. When you on primetime football, I need you to ball out, because you got to make up for all this corny stuff you putting out here in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. It's I'll say this. Actually, I want to ask Mike a question.
Hey, enjoy your night, Brad.
Oh,
Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you tuning in, brother.
Thanks for showing love. Thanks for showing love in the chat, man. We appreciate you, man. Man, I want to say, Mike, I will not say, I should ask a question. What are your thoughts on the offensive play calling, and how do you think it could be better next game for the Broncos to pull out a dub?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think a couple things. There were some times where we could have took shots that we did not. Like, there was clear times It's like that cover 3 had hack shook. I don't know what it was. So I would say take some shots. Don't be afraid to take some shots early.
Yeah.
Second thing is I'm a big fan of. We know this. I'm a big fan of Javonte Williams. Give that man the ball. Like this is the kind of game that man should have had 30 carries in that game. Russ off the play action, hitting Alberto, hitting Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy and Carlos Sutton had a relatively good game considering how bad we played. Jerry Jeudy went over 100 yards. Like they played well, but with that being said, like soften that defense up a little bit. They were teeing off on our backs because we weren't giving the ball enough. So I would say like trust your backs. I think I've never been a huge fan.
Vesper, you speaking Mike Williams loves right now.
Thank you, because I have a whole Melvin Gordon jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like I really can't stand. I've been pissed off when we signed him. I pissed off when he played. I get pissed off every time when he fumbles. It's like somebody fumbled 5 times. I just can't stand him, right? It just gets on my nerves. And he has a history of fumbling in the war times. Like, give Javonte the ball, feed that man the rock, and then
Fesper, he's spitting for you. Like, you don't even have to talk. We're just gonna keep posting Fesper's comments because he's saying all the stuff that you're saying.
Facts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And it's crazy because like you look at the Broncos. On paper, man, it's like, man, you see a Super Bowl competitor. You see a team that can make a playoff run. I said this at the beginning of the video as you guys are starting to pour in, is like, give it time. Not too much time. This is the AFC, and the AFC is freaking loaded this year. But
in the AFC West.
AFC West, what? Man, like you have it, like each team can make a run in the playoffs, man. I haven't seen a division like this and perhaps ever, and I'm 33, so it's crazy. But man, just give it some time. No need to panic. But man, it's better to get exposed week 1 to get exposed week 7, and you're thinking everything's okay, and you got to readjust your scheme for weeks to come.
Yeah, search and destroy is that comment right there, Doug, is like we had at one point going into the fourth quarter, we had 12 or 13 penalties, and we had 2 fumbles, and we were down by 1 point. So it's like, again, you can't expect to win a game like that. The fact that we were that close at that time, making all those mistakes, lets you know something like that. To me, that tells you the talent gap between the Broncos and Seattle. If we were playing, because they played well, they had a pretty lights out game and beat us by 1 point. We had 12 penalties, so I feel like once we clean that up, we clean up some of those false starts. And realistically, how many places are we going to play where you can't even call your plays because it's so loud? The answer is Seattle, right? Like that's the only place. Again, going to Arrowhead is one thing, but it's not like going to Seattle. That is the loudest stadium factually in the NFL. So I'm glad we don't have to go there again. I think we'll be okay, and I think like playing the Texans on Sunday will be a good get right game for us.
Yeah, I really expect to see Nathaniel Hackett kind of open up the playbook a little bit more. He has to, right? Because Mike, before you jumped on, I was like, they brought Nathaniel Hackett there for a reason because he's offensive minded, and they're hoping that he's going to come with a lot more explosive, right? He's kind of been held as a low key offensive savant. So we need to see that, right? We need to see that, and I want to see Nathaniel Hackett's fingerprints all over this offense, not just let Russ cook. Because with respect to Russell Wilson, like anybody who's watched our show, even though I'm a diehard Rams fan, like I love Russell Wilson. I wanted him to be the Rams quarterback for the longest. It didn't work out, but we were still okay. But it's like we see what happens when you let Russ cook, just like what happens when you let food cook for too long. Eventually, it just burns. So I really need Nathaniel Hackett to kind of help him, because when you're giving Russell that guidance and the stuff is clicking, he's going to make those plays for you. But if you put him out there by himself where he gets put into the position where he feels like he has to be the savior, he really starts to look a lot like Matt Stafford when you start playing hero ball. And I'm not talking about necessarily with the interceptions, but like the play is not good. Yeah. Throw the whole football player out the window because he forgets everything that he's actually good at.
Yeah. And this is like, coming into the season, Nathaniel Hackett, for him, it was, coming over from the Green Bay Packers, right? And he's going to bring a plethora of knowledge, working under, the quarterback. I'm drawing a freaking blank. Aaron Rodgers. I can't think today.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yep.
And it's but how much is that is Aaron Rodgers, and how much is that
exactly
Hackett? You know what I mean? It's almost when Coach Adam Gase was, playing with
Don't say Adam Gase. The better parallel is Belichick and Brady.
I'm going somewhere with this. Remember Adam Gase? He was with the Broncos many, many years ago. So coming into Miami when he eventually got the job, they're like, "Oh my gosh, he was with Peyton Manning. That was Peyton Manning." You can't coach that. You know what I mean? So
this is where, like, because Doug, I did hear that earlier in the offseason, but here's the big difference. Like, Nathaniel Hackett, last time he was calling plays was Jacksonville when they made it to the AFC Championship game, and they were scoring 28, 30 points a game. So I believe he has the wherewithal and experience to be calling plays and have a successful offense. I don't believe he called the game today that he needed to call, though, right? Like, I'm a big believer. Again,
it's a learning experience for him.
All the time. Like, you have a good line. If you have a good line, run the ball, and your whole offense should be go off of play action. It should be set up on those different things. And Russ is a quarterback who likes to move the pocket. So, like, set that up. You can't move the pocket if you're just dropping back or you're on shotgun to the pistol the whole time. You can't move the pocket like that because they just put their ears back and come after you, which they did. I think if we would have, run the ball, we legitimately have a top 5 backfield if we're handing those to the ball, right? Like we have a top 5 backfield. Use your strength, work off your strength. And again, Russ is a dog, and I trust Russ to go win a game, come back. He has that history since he's been in the league. But with that being said, like, we didn't establish the run today. Like, they were not scared of our run today, and they should have been.
Hey, Will, with all due respect, bro, you ain't with that contract y'all just gave Russ. You ain't got no choice but to trust Russ.
Yeah, he earned it.
Yeah. No, he earned money in Seattle. He ain't earned shit in Denver yet.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, I believe he'll be fine. I think everything will gel together. It's gonna take some games, man. And thank God you have a game like the Texans, though they were very competitive.
I mean, hey, Doug.
Davis Mills?
Davis Mills. They call him Davis.
Davis, the neck Mills.
It always goes nuts. But Davis Mills is like, I told y'all this last year. Dude is like a guy you can go put out there and win the game. Like, and this is no shade because I love Grant Morley, right? But Grant Morley was not a fast receiver. No, I'm just being. This is my guy.
That's a good comparison.
Grant Morley was not a fast receiver. He wasn't the most athletic guy. Dude was smart. He had hands. Like, he never dropped anything in the entire 4 years of high school football we played together, and that got him a college scholarship, right? I'm saying a lot to say Davis Mills is that guy. He's not going to turn the ball over a lot. He's brilliant. He went to Stanford. He's going to go make his plays, and I feel like that's a game where if we go in there like, oh, we're about to beat the hell out the Texans, it could go bad. We need to go into that game and like run our offense because they have a bunch of glaring holes. But they're
also I'm
gonna play well because they got Lovie Smith as their coach. Our defense has to play well for us to be in that game.
And Lovie Smith's at full strength. If you haven't seen Man's Beard game, like, he's at full strength, okay?
Yeah.
And it's not just going to be Davis Mills.
They decreased their defensive points per game by 5 because of his beard.
That's what I'm saying. And look, and I think, right, I'm certain that Denver is going to go back to they're going to look at film, right, and they're going to address this. But, like, if you guys thought that Rashad Penny was bad tonight, that boy Damon Pierce that's sitting down in Houston, he ain't nothing to play with neither.
He didn't do that yesterday. I know he was on my fantasy team, so I hope he keeps that up for one more week.
4.9 points.
Right.
It's all good. It's all good. Isaac, man, what are your thoughts on tonight's game, man?
I missed a good portion of it. I just come back from work, but I did see the fourth quarter. Pretty much like you guys said, I think the Broncos are going to be fine overall. Definitely want to clean some things up. I chalk a lot of it up to just week 1 jitters. It's hard to play in Seattle. But, you saw parts of what makes Russell Russell. You also saw parts of what makes Russell Russell on both ends. So I think just going back to the drawing board, definitely get right against Houston because that's definitely not a gimme game. I think Lovey's got them boys coached up, and they kind of think that they can do it. They're off a tie, you know what I mean? So we're going to see what they got. But I think overall, Denver, I'm not worried about them not being good this year.
Yeah, talk to me if they got one win and it's week 4, then we'll start having different kinds of conversations.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, nah, man. This really recaps week 1, y'all. We had a lot of fun games. You and I, we did a hour-and-a-half episode yesterday, man.
Yeah.
We got into it, man. We had the meat and potatoes of all the different games, from the Dolphins to the Rams and all in between, man. And It's exciting, man. Real quick, quick round table. I may even change my answer from a video that I dropped 3 weeks ago. Super Bowl predictions. Let me go ahead. Isaac, I'll start with you. Super Bowl predictions. 2 teams. Hold on. 2 teams, 1 winner.
Cody Clemens Vesper, is that you with a burner account?
I feel like this year it's truly wide open, like on both sides. Like the AFC is definitely stacked, but at the same time, like if anybody that nobody's looking at has a shot of getting it, I feel like this is the year to try to do it. I mean, I'm predicting the AFC Championship right now is we're going to get a part 2, Bills KC. Yeah. It's a toss-up, honestly, because that's Charizard and Blastoise right there. I mean,
yeah,
Blastoise has the advantage, bro.
Absolutely.
I in my gut, I have no reason to doubt Patrick. I'm a say again, he's gonna beat Josh Allen and the Bills again in another close matchup. Probably won't go to overtime, but they'll win at the end. They'll be the AFC representative, and for the NFC, which is just a joy luck club right now.
Don't you dare.
You know I'm gonna do it.
I know, but you be lying to yourself. But go ahead, because I want to hear your foolishness. Keep going.
You know, now realistically, like I would say Green Bay, but I don't know if I trust them after seeing yesterday. This isn't the same feeling like when A-Rod was like, "Oh, relax." Like, nah, Kirk Cousins came and busted y'all ass. Y'all.
That's the Kirk Cousins we've been talking about.
Hey, I'm gonna give respect where it's due. Kirk Cousins, you did that, but it's week 1. Let's see you do that in week 16. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I would say on the NFC, I don't respect none of these teams. I'm going full road. Commanders, we're doing it. We're going. They laughed at us. We're the butt of everyone's joke.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna see who's
score.
there.
What do you got for score, man? Who wins it all? And then
not y'all. Let me spoiler alert. Not y'all.
Battle of the Indians. So
it's all good. Hey man,
I hope no Commanders fans are listening. I would say that would be the beginning of our coming dynasty. But Patrick will get us. Final score would be 31-18.
Okay.
But we'll be back the following year and winning the next 7.
This man is tripping.
I'm sick. I'm off the hinges.
I know. Carson Wentz had 1 out of 5 good games that he has every season, so you got 4 more in the tank.
No, but I will say about this, Carson, like RG3 said, that is the most Carson Wentz game that he has ever played, that I've ever seen. Because I saw the good, I saw the that wasn't great, and then I saw the horrible, ugly warts. It was one thing he threw that pick. Was it Tyson Campbell? I think that's his name. He had a hell of a play.
Look,
that second one though, that's where I was just like, dang, that's the Wentz they were talking about.
Ike, all I want to know is how are y'all several years removed from Kirk Cousins and you got Kirk Cousins back on your team?
Hey, Doug, look, can you put up Search and Destroy's comments? Because I think he has said what we all feel when Isaac's prediction just now. That's how universally.
Hey, the thing is,
would you mind if I take a shot at this one next, Doug?
Yeah, I got you next, man. Mike, man, go ahead, take us away, good sir.
All right, so I'm gonna just keep it funky. Josh Allen is the baddest man in the NFL right now, and what he was again, the Chiefs and the Bills was out there for real serving, but the difference is who did the Chiefs serve, right? Let's look at who the Chiefs they served the Cardinals this season. The Cardinals are not in the same ballpark.
I hear that the Cardinals are a good team.
I
heard it from reliable sources.
Their play calling has not been, but that's a whole nother story. I trust Josh Allen, and I think last year, and again, bringing in Von Miller as a closer, that's going to help that team be more complete, and you literally saw that against the Rams. That's what Von Miller does. That's why you sign him, and I think they'll be in the position. Saying that to say I think the Bills are the AFC representatives, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl, and I don't think it's going to be close. The NFC, and me and Soup talked about this. They have high expectations, as they should, and anything short of a Super Bowl appearance and a victory, in my opinion, anything short of a Super Bowl appearance at minimum is a failure, and anything short of a Super Bowl win is a failure with that team being so complete, barring injury. Right, injuries can always throw this stuff off. Now, out of the NFC, I just got to go with a lot of people like Kenny. I don't like Kenny, but some people are just consistent with it, right? Saying that to say I have no doubt that the Bucks by the end of the season will be in a position that they're still the top of the NFC South. They still have Tom Brady, and I think they will be in the Super Bowl playing the Bills. I think they're going to lose. I don't think the NFC is in the same wavelength. The top teams in the NFC, not in the same wavelength as the top teams in the AFC. But I think the Bills are going to be the representatives. I think they're going to win like 31 to like 20. I'll give the Bills over the Bucks in the Super Bowl.
Love it. I love it. Soup, man. What you got, man? Super Bowl predictions. 2 teams, 1 winner.
Well, I'm not going to change my prediction. My prediction has been the same since we started talking predictions with the Super Bowl. But before I say it for everybody here tonight, like, with all due respect to Josh Allen, like, obviously he's talented. You're blind, or you're not watching the same football that I'm watching, or maybe you're watching the defensive player Josh Allen. But like, the guy that plays for the Bills, there's a reason why this team is favored. Like, they came out, they showed it Thursday night against my Rams. I understand why they're the favorites. But once again, Ike gonna have to mute himself.
This man Ike is like crumpled up chips.
But once again, like, everybody keeps leapfrogging Patrick Mahomes, and I don't understand how. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and it hasn't happened yet.
He got beat last year.
Okay, but not by the person that y'all say is better than him. So
he did get beat last year by the Bills.
But either way, that being said, like I said I wouldn't back down from my Super Bowl prediction that I made earlier on our show, and I made it on a whole nother show, and it still stands the same. It's going to be Bills Rams in Arizona in February. It's going to be a rematch, hopefully with better results. But it's going to be a tough game. I think any team in the NFC, right? Any team in the NFC, I think you're praying to God or whoever it is that you pray to. I think you're praying that gauntlet that is the entire AFC conference is going to beat up their representative so bad that you actually have a chance, because the caliber of team early, because we got to see how the rest of the season shakes out. But the caliber of play that I'm seeing out of the AFC versus the caliber of play that I'm seeing out of the NFC is 2 completely different things. It's about as close to college and NFL differential as I've seen. And that's with respect to all of these guys being professionals. You're seeing defensively and offensively just a completely different level coming out of the AFC. So I fully expect the season opener that we had on Thursday night. I fully expect a rematch, but I'm going to go with different results. And as good as the team is, right, as good as the Bills are, because they're built for a Super Bowl, and anything less than them holding the Lombardi at the end of the season is a massive disappointment. And I want them to be slandered. How everybody was trying to slander us. You push all your chips to the table, you deserve to slander if you don't come away with it, if you crap out. But getting to the Super Bowl is a different animal. And you talk to any player that's been to a Super Bowl, like their first Super Bowl, it doesn't matter how many times you've been to a championship game, a divisional round, or nothing. The Super Bowl is a different kind of animal. And even the best players, the best teams lose their footing and stumble because it's just an atmosphere that they're not prepared for, right? Rams hadn't been in almost 20 years in 2018, and they were far and away the best offensive team that year, putting up all sorts of points. But you go against an experienced Patriots that have been there, done that, with players that have been there, done that, a coach that's been there, done that, right? They're prepared for that atmosphere, shell-shock that team. And you know, there are very rare occurrences where that happens, but even Mike, even with your Broncos, after you guys had your Super Bowl drought and that first trip with Peyton against Seattle, shell-shocked because that nobody on that squad had been. But then the next time that they come back, they're ready, right? And who got shell-shocked? Carolina, even though they were the most explosive team all season. So I'm saying, like, experience in that game means something. I do think it's a different outcome if the Bills have to see the Rams again in February.
I love it. Now I did an episode yeah, 2 to 3 weeks ago, and a certain team, which I will not name, you gotta go watch the episode. It's very embarrassing. That I chose got beat by, I'll just say it, the Bears. The Bears beat the 49ers, and I was so high on the 49ers. I stuck between 49ers.
Can you say it again? I couldn't hear you in my headphones.
I said 49ers, Rams. 49ers, Rams.
What team? What team lost to who?
The Bears.
Okay, but what was the team that lost to them?
Sorry, 49ers.
Okay. I just wanted to be
my bad. Sorry.
Okay, I just
wanted the tongue there. So I had the Dolphins going against them. Here's my prediction, man. It's only week 1, and I tend to be an emotional predictor. But hey, look, the Miami Dolphins. You have probably the best safety duo in the league. Brandon Jones leading the whole NFL in sacks all last year and already kicking it off this year. Javon Holland, number 1, maybe even number 2 best safety in the league at the age of 22. Xavier Howard, best cornerback in the NFL. You literally have one of the, if not the best, total group of secondary in the NFL. Then you're stacked up with a great D-line. Linebackers look fantastic. There's depth all over the place. Tua with his low turnovers. I got Miami Dolphins making it to the Super Bowl. They're going to be the what Cincinnati Bengals was last year. I have them sneaking in, and I do believe that they could even break even with the Bills. They're definitely not going to sweep the Bills. I don't see that happening. And as far as my NFC team, I'm going to shock y'all with this, man, but something is happening in Minnesota, and I'm adjusting Jefferson.
I like the Minnesota pick.
Hear me out.
But I like it a lot.
But Minnesota, I think they're going to win that division. I don't see them losing more than 4 or 5 games. I think they got hot at the right time, and it's now or never, man, like for them. But just like Dolphins took and beat the Vikings in the Super Bowl before, it's going to happen again. I got Miami Dolphins winning the Super Bowl. It's going to take them be 38-31. Dolphins win.
Look, I got a whole.
So am I the only? I
got a whole new level of respect for Mike Williams because he's sitting here saying he's the only one that didn't pick his team. Now, look, that being said, Ike and Doug over here dream selling season. I'm sorry.
I just want y'all to
know. There's a realistic path for us.
I think we have a realistic path.
Is there? I think Denver does too.
The Dolphins are in the division with the Bills, bro. Like they're in the division with the best team in the NFL. And I just want y'all to circle this so y'all can see all this Josh Allen slander that Super's throwing out until and Doug. I know he hates him. I mean, that's like the Raiders. I get it. I'm
prepared to come back and own it.
Josh Allen, this man was literally playing hopscotch.
Yeah,
he was double dutching by himself, Doug. He was killing him, man.
I'm prepared.
Josh Allen is, in my opinion, the best. Him and Mahomes are the best quarterbacks in football, man.
It's him. I think it's him. Mahomes is here.
How? It's the same way that I would say somebody explained to me how is Justin Herbert.
One at a time. What do you say, Isaac?
No, saying Josh is a bad man, but as of right now, Josh ain't beat the best man yet. He'll have a chance
to beat them.
Not when it matters.
Exactly.
But he wasn't on the field. That wasn't him. Like he literally put them in a position to win the game.
Guess what?
But the other
if you did everything that you could have, if you did everything you could have done, overtime wouldn't have happened, buddy.
But you know what's
as a quarterback, you're responsible for that too.
He'll have
what's going to fix that problem though, Ike? Von Miller. That's where they got that man. That's what he does.
That's true. Like I said,
you better hope.
We can't.
All that money you paid him, you better hope.
Now. They will have another chance later this year to see who truly is the baddest man alive. As of right now, I guess we'll say it's a toss-up. Right now, I'm gonna give Mahomes.
No, it ain't a toss-up. It ain't a toss-up.
Mahomes got the ring.
He got a ring and he got an MVP. It's not a toss-up.
You feel me? Josh is good.
It's not a toss-up.
Right now,
and that's not disrespectful to Josh. That's just facts.
Right now, Josh is Karl Malone. You know what I'm saying? Like you nice. You got mad points, but you ain't got nothing to show for it right now.
My thing with Josh Allen. The only thing I have to say about Josh Allen, and this is me putting my Dolphins bias aside. We're gonna push that over here too. He plays like a better version of Cam Newton, right? But here's the thing: just like Cam Newton, you taking some nasty hits. You trying to truck D lineman in the middle of the field. You give him a little smirk as you walk away. I see you, man. You're doing your thing, man. But whether it's this season or 3 seasons from now, man, this is the National Football League, man. That stuff will catch up.
Chickens come home to roost, bro.
Hey, Doug, he dunked on a defender. That man
is
this man. What he said?
Yeah.
He dunked. He dunked on an NFL game.
And
Josh Allen's a bad man.
Doing his
they
thing,
need to
man.
put put an arrest warrant out for that man because he definitely violated Jalen Ramsey's face.
Yeah, no, he sure did. I saw that. Like, yeah,
That's why he is able to just be walking free in America right now. I don't know. He needs to be subpoenaed.
Like I
that
said,
was filthy.
Well, like I said, we'll see. There's a lot of football left, and you know we could all just be talking real crazy. There's a lot of football left to be played. It's a long season. There's unfortunately injuries are an ugly part of this game. How teams handle adversity. It's not about if you get injured. It's about when you get injured and who are those pieces, right? Are you able to overcome? Are you able to bounce back from that? Like I said, the teams that we're mentioning as these Super Bowl contenders, especially, you know, talking to the Bills, there's a reason that they're getting all of this hype, man. Like, they are a complete team, and I think they probably have the most complete roster, if not one of the most complete rosters in the NFL right now. I said I think it's going to be a very long offseason for them if they miss an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. It's going to be a very long offseason for them.
That window is so small, man. I mean, you get that chance, man. You better take and go for it.
Yeah, you always think you'll be right back, and for some teams, like, and it never happens, right? It just never happens. So Falcons, Carolina Panthers, like, I mean, shoot, like, how long has it been since Dallas was going to be right back?
Well,
let's not even talk about it.
It's going to be a little bit longer, let me tell you.
That's a fact. You know, hey, I do want to give a shout out, Doug, to your Dolphins, because that's one of the reasons I did when I'm like, yo, Tua managed the game like Tua does. Tyreek Hill still looks like, and Jalen Waddle is a damn dog. Like, Jalen Waddle is a dog for real. But they're still not going to beat the Bills. But I do want to give them a shout out.
Hey, Ravens, big trust. That's right.
Hey,
they're gonna have to stop speaking
ill
on
Ravens,
Lamar.
Big trust. How you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in,
Mike. I was telling Doug this yesterday. They really gonna have to stop speaking ill on Lamar's name, like, and stop joking with him, calling him a running back, because what I seen, and they're like, oh, it's against the Jets. I'm like, bro, some of y'all quarterbacks, some of y'all future franchise saviors, some of y'all high draft picks that's supposed to be savior of the franchise. Some of y'all didn't look like quarterbacks against a team that's pretty much the same caliber. Bears.
All I know is this man Lamar was in his bag yesterday, and they're not even healthy yet. But
the Ravens could always be that wild card.
Oh, hey,
I'm saying the Ravens, they could always be that wild card. They're still.
I'm gonna change my prediction, because I know I think we did our predictions earlier about, like, division, but yeah, give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens out of the North. Give me the Ravens out of the North, especially once the decision comes down on TJ Watt, if it's going to be 6 weeks or if it's going to be the season. Give me the Ravens.
I still got the Bengals.
Give me the Ravens.
Somebody said the Steelers made Joe Burrow look like Jake Delhomme.
Yeah, Big D.
I was like, dang.
Yeah, they made the swag guy look whack yesterday, man.
Yeah,
where's the slander?
He was looking like Ohio State Joe Burrow.
Where's the slander?
Soup, y'all see, this is the difference. I love my brother Soup. But this man wants everybody to get the slander like they're the defending Super Bowl champions.
Were they not in the game with us?
Because they got a Super Bowl. They lost then. Y'all won.
No, they got rings too. Didn't you see the season ticket holder thing that they sent out? They got rings too.
Ohio State quarterbacks, no love.
No, he can't claim Ohio State, bro. He got that championship down at LSU. He can't claim them. I'm just saying. Last time I checked, the Bengals got rings too. I seen their season ticket holder package. I seen it. They got rings too. So,
hey man, all I know is shout out to the Bengals, because they're about to have an indoor practice facility finally after their entire existence as did y'all see Buffalo have indoor practice facility?
Yes, they just built a field house actually about a year ago.
So they're about to catch up to the dang
Commanders.
National Championship CSU Pueblo, T-Wolves. The Bengals are finally catching. They made it to the Super Bowl, Doug, without an indoor practice facility in Ohio. That's a tough ass team.
Look,
spend all that money on that skyline chili is going to happen.
And Ohio weather sucks.
Closet Raider fan hides.
Yeah, man. Nah, man. It's with the Bengals, man. Soup, you and I were talking yesterday, man. Look, it's all great that Joey Burrow's all swaggy, man. His kicker's all swaggy. Everybody having fun, but I hope your work ethic stays the same. You know what I mean? And it's great. You went to Super Bowl, man. You're in a little city, a big town, little city, Cincinnati, right, where people are just hyping and gassing you up, man, and they're giving you free food when you go out.
He's a hometown hero, bro. He's from there. He's the hometown hero. But
work ethic got to be the same. You know what I mean? Like,
forget your work ethic. I don't care about his work ethic. Slander this man. Slander him like you slander my guy who got the ring. Slander him.
I didn't slander your guy, man, by the way.
Slander this man. I'm not talking about you specifically. I want all y'all that was talking greasy on Matt Stafford's name. Slander Joe Burrow because he has the same
The difference is Matt Stafford is a Super Bowl champion. Joe Burrow is a third-year quarterback. The slander should not be this. You cannot try to
slander him.
He's like slander Dak Prescott.
I like
him because guess what? He played against inferior competition too. I don't want to hear about it.
I like how Soup the one time the Rams look bad, now Soup wants the world to burn. First time, buddy. This is what it's like.
Burn this motherfucker down.
He's like, you see the slander giving the defending Super Bowl champions.
Listen.
Give that to the team that nobody thought would be in the playoffs.
Listen. I moved to the east side. I moved on up to the east side 5 years ago when Sean McVay came to town. I'm not going back. Okay,
so we ain't going back.
I'm not going back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So now you understand my need to dream cell and climb up out the cellar because I've been in the basement for a long time. Let me tell you, look, I'm ready to rent somewhere.
To put context, real quickly for the fans, to put context, I'm a Dolphins fan. Isaac's a Commanders fan. My guy Mike here, huge Broncos fan. And then we got my guy Adrian over here, man. Super Bowl champion, man. Go throw that hat up.
You guys have to at least let me plead my case.
No, they are not making.
Listen,
nobody's gonna listen. I understand that, but here's the thing. What I saw yesterday is
I seen you on
a
Twitter.
Stark difference in everything I've seen up to this point. I watched Carson Wentz go against the same defense that made him look like a shell of himself, start off hot, and then just throw 2 super Carson Wentz picks. And I thought, like,
there's more where that came from.
Absolutely. But I'm getting to it. But I also saw him after doing that, go back, shrug it off, throw a nuke to Terry, and then throw a nice dart to the rookie Jahan and win that game. And it's not even just the game, but I saw the locker room after the game. And I saw how the team embraced him and how he spoke to the team, owned up to his mistake. They told me he was a locker room cancer, right?
No, he was just unsure if he wanted to take command.
You have to understand. I understand exactly who Carson Wentz is. I'm not putting him on some pedestal. The thing is,
your Twitter feed would suggest differently, but keep going.
But here's the thing, though. Y'all, every single person in this chat has had at some point in your fandom a quarterback that can make plays. Y'all got to understand the filth that we have had at the quarterback position for the better part of the last 3
What
decades.
are you talking about, bro?
Not more than 2 of them.
Kurt Warner to Matt Stafford. You tell me who was between that.
Did you have a one-legged Alex Smith? Rest in peace. Did you have a Dwayne Haskins that just couldn't figure it out?
I had Austin
Did you have
Davis.
a Taylor Heineke who, when he throws the ball, it becomes an actual beach ball?
Yeah,
on the field.
I had Austin Davis.
What I have on my team now, you know what I'm saying? What I have on my team now is somebody that can actually throw the deep ball. And when I look at the team last year, I see a team that we went 7-10, but easily could have been 11-6, possibly 12. We were in every single game, but a lot of those games, the quarterback just couldn't make the plays that were there to be made. Scott Turner can he schemes guys open. Taylor Heineke just wasn't able to get it. We lost a lot of those games that we should have lost. You know, if coulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever, went 7-10. This year, yes, Carson's gonna have his warts, but he's also gonna have plays that we ain't seen in Washington in like 35 plus years. So
serious question for you, Ike.
Wentz ride.
Serious question for you. Did you DVR yesterday's game?
I didn't, but that's only because I just got my cable back. But
I just feel like you might want to hold on to that and put that in a time capsule because you're going to need that come week 17.
I'm just telling you, man, because hey, Carson, this is what I heard. I love you, bro. What I just heard was we were a boring 7-10 this year. Last year, rather. This year we're going to be an exciting 8-9 because Carson Wentz is going to throw. He's going to throw 10 games away and he'll make plays for 8. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, this team that we have ain't the same team that he's had in Indy, and it even isn't the same team that he's had in Philly. So I hear you guys loud and clear. I'm acknowledging it.
That team he had in Philly won the Super Bowl.
Yes, but I'm talking more so about like the 1920 teams that he got slandered for. Because that 17
he deserved it.
Broke away. He did, but at the same time, just like Indy, the media is they're not telling y'all the truth. They want you to think that Wentz played himself out of Indy. I think the game yesterday proves Indy is not the team y'all really think they are. And I've been saying that, but that's neither here nor there. But like I said, I'm here for the Wentz ride. You know, I'm here for the lows. I'm here for the highs. And for better or worse, just like Mike and Broncos and Russ and the Broncos are married to one another, we traded for him and we are married to one another as well. So I will stand on my hill one way or the other. Y'all know I don't never sway. It's all Commanders till I die. But I have a good feeling about
you can't. You can't claim Commanders until I see you with a Commander's hat.
I claim jersey. What I damn well want to claim. No, I am Washington. Yeah. Anyway, but this is I feel this is we're building something in Washington, and like I said, we're used to being laughed at. We're used to being the butt of all jokes.
Yeah.
Let's 1 week at a time. Like you said,
for real though, your
week 17. Let's see what happens.
For real though, your marketing department deserves to get laughed at because they took pictures of the mugs that they were selling in the stadium that actually had the state of Washington with the Commander's W on it.
Jokes on them though, because we own that state too. We're everywhere, baby. Hydra.
And I speaking of the butt of jokes, you were talking about how y'all been the butt of jokes sometimes. Well wishes to Brian Robinson who got shot in his ass cheek on the way out.
Hey, shout out to the Winter Soldier.
When that man I'm saying when that man comes back, I really that running back room was going to be nasty if he comes back healthy because he was a dog.
The team that we have, like you said, we get Brian Robinson back. We get Chase Young back soon. We get
maybe
y'all don't know about this guy yet, but just like I tried to tell y'all about Jahan Johnson earlier, and nobody listened. I'm telling you about this guy. Y'all didn't listen to me on Twitter. I'm giving everybody free game. Go to your waiver wire and pick up Cole Turner. Just do it. He's a tight end. Just do it. And just stash him.
Yeah, he was a beast in the bottom.
Just stash him. Yeah. When he comes back, that tight end room is going to go crazy. We got Logan back. We got him. John Bates. Like, shout out to Amani Rogers out of University of Ohio, converted quarterback, undrafted. He looks like he belongs. That tight end room is crazy. And so, like I said, we have a lot of fun weapons in DC. Brian Robinson's going to come back and allow Antonio Gibson to really be the Memphis version of AG that we've been missing. We got a glimpse yesterday. We're going to see him again in his final form. And for the first time in a long time, I'm legitimately somewhat excited for this team because I feel like they got a lot of the same like curses that has plagued us in the past. We'd have lost that game yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
This is the first time you excited because I remember you on the podcast last season, and it seemed very much the same level.
Yeah, but at the same time, I had Tyler Heineke. So there's only so much you can do with a quarterback that can't throw a 10-yard out from the far hash.
Yeah, but I feel like you were still riding high off of his performance against Tom Brady in the 2021 Super Bowl.
Whoever's that quarterback, you're going to be happy.
Yeah, so
we're not a Super Bowl winning franchise in my life. I'm sorry, Adrian, looking on us. Oh, these peasants.
I mean, me and Mike are both. Me and Mike are like the right side of the screen. The right side of the screen is looking at the left side of the screen, kind of crazy.
I've watched every dub that the Broncos have taken the Super Bowl in my lifetime.
That's fine. Like I said, I
watched the Dolphins Super Bowl on VHS.
I wouldn't be myself if my takes were believable. So
true story.
Like I said, we'll see.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, just if you didn't learn anything else from this show, remember to believe in yourself. Remember to have that Jerry Jones-like faith that 1 + 1 = 3, and you too could be the next Isaac Davidson.
Don't let them tell you no different.
Oh yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Yesterday, we're not even going to talk about those bums.
Look, man, you let me down. We're not getting into that. You search and destroy your boys let me down. But anyway, everybody that's in the chat, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Those of y'all that put some comments down there, anybody that tuned in and listened to us ramble for the last few minutes and listen to us talk about the game, listen to us give out our crazy takes and probably tear your teams apart and only lift up ours. We appreciate y'all tuning in and spending a little bit of your Monday evening with us, man. We know that you could have been anywhere in the world, probably asleep. That's what I would like to be right now, but you're here with us. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody have a blessed night. Be safe. I always say this at the end of every episode, man. Jesus loves you. And have a great night, man. Look, man, I hope everybody kills it in fantasy football. Absolutely crushes it. I hope everybody gets a good night rest. Whether you were entertained by tonight's game or you're pissed off because your team lost or you're happy that your team won, whatever it may be. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you want to take a donate below. Information is going to all take and be down below. Thank you guys so much. And then big shout out to my co-host, man. Good to freaking have the dang squad back, man. Isaac, Adrian, Mike, man. It's been a minute, y'all. So this is awesome, man. Thank you guys.
For sure.
Be back, man.
All right, man. Have a good night, world. Peace.
Peace.
I'm still here, y'all. Just